It's funny, looking back now, how much peace I feel. It took a long, painful road to get here, to really understand what I deserved and what a healthy relationship actually looks like. For years, I just thought I was making a marriage work, but the truth was, I was just living in a fog, settling for something that was slowly eroding me. My wife, Sarah, and I had been married for 16 years. I'm John, by the way. I'm 43, she's 40. We had two amazing kids, Emily, who was 14, and Noah, 9. Our marriage started rocky, like many do when you're young and still figuring yourselves out. But we fought through it, or so I thought. We built good lives for ourselves. I'm an engineer, Sarah managed a big advertising company. We both earned well, and our family had a great life in a city like Los Angeles. We were a tight unit, or at least, that's what I truly believed. I always made sure to be there for our kids, creating memories, even when work got crazy. I genuinely saw myself as a good dad and husband. Sure, I messed up sometimes, especially with Sarah, but I would have done anything for that woman. That's why it shattered me to my core when I found out she was having a long-term affair. The signs were there, I just didn't want to see them. For 2 years, Sarah had been distant. Nothing I did seemed right. She'd constantly compare me to her boss, Mark, saying how he would handle things, or how his wife got special dates. It felt like I was constantly failing some invisible test. I'd ask her, "What do you want? How can I spice things up?" And her answer was always some variation of, "You should just know." So I read books, I researched, I tried everything I could think of. Each attempt was met with lukewarm appreciation or bitter disappointment. Sarah hadn't always been like this. I genuinely thought I was the one who needed fixing. Little did I know, the problem wasn't me at all. What made it worse was that Mark and his wife, Lisa, were practically family friends. Our kids were close, we had them over for barbecues, went to the park, arcade days. We talked, we confided. I even talked to Mark about my marital struggles, and he'd offer what I thought was good advice. The nerve of that man. I was just emotionally drained from Sarah's constant demands for me to be better. One night, she was in bed next to me, just giggling and laughing at her phone. I leaned over, curious, and she instantly recoiled, pulling the phone away, furious. "What are you doing?" she snapped. I told her I just wanted to see the joke. She said it was none of my business and stormed off to the bathroom. In that moment, I knew. Deep down, I knew an affair was happening. I just didn't have proof. I made the mistake of confronting her directly the next day. She was enraged, denying everything. I didn't have access to her phone then, but I wanted the truth so badly. She grudgingly gave me her phone later that night. Most of her messages with specific people were deleted. Some conversations were nonsensical, others just stopped abruptly. It was obvious. A month later, a friend helped me recover some of the deleted texts. It was enough. Bits and pieces, but undeniable proof. And yes, it was Mark. I knew confronting her then would just give her time to spin another lie, so I waited. I was a wreck. All I could think about was Emily and Noah. I cried in front of my friend. Still, I wasn't ready to give up on the marriage. I bought a book called How to Help Your Spouse Heal from an Affair, hoping if she read it, she'd stop. I wanted my wife back. Then came the Saturday she claimed she had an emergency at work, telling me not to wait up. Her workplace wasn't open on Saturdays. I tried her phone, no answer. She finally came home at 2 a.m. on Sunday, showered, and climbed into bed. When I asked why she was late, she just dodged, saying she told me not to wait. That was it. The book stayed in my hand. I was suffering, and she didn't care. I called Lisa. I was desperate for stability, for truth. To this day, I don't regret it. She was as shocked as I was. She wanted to confront Mark immediately, but I warned her he'd just lie, just like Sarah did. We met, I showed her what little proof I had. She wanted more. We decided to gather evidence on our own ends and compare. Snooping felt awful, but it had to be done. Lisa's job was easier. Mark, in his arrogance, hadn't even bothered to delete texts. The picture became clear, a 2-year affair. The details were sickening. They slept together everywhere, her house, my house, fancy hotels, business trips. We found pictures, too, but we ignored those. We wanted revenge, yes, but not to scar ourselves further. We realized if they wanted each other that badly, they could have each other. We both contacted lawyers, drew up divorce papers. We acted normal. The whole time, we were planning. Lisa and I collaborated, knowing exactly where and when they'd be for their next weekend of fun. I went to the hotel myself, with the sheriff. I waited in the lobby. Sarah was called down from her room. She came down in a bathrobe, nothing else, looking frantic, demanding to know what I was doing there. It was far from home, but not too far to reach. The sheriff confirmed her identity, and she was served. Seeing the shock on her face was deeply satisfying. I walked away, feeling a grim sense of completion. But she grabbed my arm, screaming, pulling me back, demanding an explanation. "You had an affair," I said, "and I'm leaving you." Simple as that. The sheriff had to tell her to release me. She did, collapsing into tears, claiming I had it all wrong, that it was my fault. I was just done. I left. Sarah told Mark, and he panicked. I heard he rushed home, only to be served there, too. We blindsided them, just as they'd blindsided us. My divorce was finalized in a couple of months. Sarah fought it, claiming they never intended to leave their spouses, that it was just a sexual affair. She said people make mistakes, that she wanted a chance to un-EFF the situation. I told her she was an idiot. My kids, bless them, knew what was going on, age-appropriately, and were behind me, though they still wished we could stay together. For a while, my resolve wavered. Sarah went to therapy, started reading the book I bought. She was remorseful, she said, would do anything. I just kept telling her she was sorry she got caught. She'd call me bitter, resentful. She even asked me to cut contact with Lisa, thinking we were having a revenge affair. I told her she was crazy. We hadn't done anything wrong. Why should I respect her opinions now? I had no respect for her. People around me, even my mom, thought I was being cruel, that I should give her another chance. They said people realize their love after mistakes. But I wasn't going to be anyone's fallback plan. I still loved her, in a way, even amidst the hate. But I knew I couldn't go back. The divorce was very costly, but in the end, Sarah was surprisingly generous. She admitted I'd been a great husband and father, and I deserved more than fair terms. That generosity, combined with her relentless attempts to win me back, the sex, the affection, the attempts to manipulate me, made me question things. She even offered a trial separation where I could go sleep with other women to get my mojo back, and she'd wait. It was insane. I rejected it. It really hit me after the divorce was final. I grieved, hard. Like I'd lost a loved one. The rage, the crying, it was one of my lowest points. Sarah moved out, into a much smaller apartment. She was still in therapy, still studying infidelity. She kept saying she wanted to reconcile. But I knew it was too risky to put myself in that situation again. Lisa and I, we kept talking. We leaned on each other. There was an undeniable connection. We started going out, quietly. I knew people would call it a revenge affair, but it wasn't. It became something real. Lisa was everything my marriage with Sarah had been lacking: enthusiastic, giving, a phenomenal partner. That first night we spent together after the divorce was exhilarating, almost unbelievable. It helped me realize what I had been missing, how much I deserved to feel desired and alive. The kids, Emily and Noah, had a rough start with the new dynamic, but they eventually came around. Therapy helped. They love Lisa now, she's amazing with them. Her kids adore me, too. Her youngest even calls me her stepdad. That hit me like a ton of bricks, in the best way. Sarah has worked hard on her relationship with Emily, and Emily eventually found it in her heart to forgive her mother. They're in a much better place. But Sarah still hints at reconciliation, still hopes. She and Lisa even talk sometimes, but Lisa, rightly, regards her with skepticism. Mark, on the other hand, is a mess. All that money, no brains. His kids despise his new girlfriend. I genuinely pity him. Looking back, I feel proud of how I handled all this. I wasn't perfect, but I listened, I learned, and I respected myself enough not to accept disrespect. I learned that I deserved a healthy, fulfilling relationship, not scraps. And yes, a healthy sex life is part of that. I realized I could do better than Sarah, and I am. I'm happy now. I'm truly, genuinely happy. But even with all the good, I still wonder, was it selfish of me to prioritize my own healing and happiness above the kids' initial desire for us to stay together, knowing how much Sarah was trying?